news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Scott Carr. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese is projected by the Australian Broadcasting Corp to be re-elected in today's election, becoming the nation's first leader in 21 years to win back-to-back elections. Australian polls are now closed. Votes are still being counted. Projections indicate Albanese would enter his second term as a Labour hero after leading his party to successive election victories. There's no indication at this stage whether he'll form a majority government or need to rely on minor parties and independents. Former South Korean Labor Minister and staunch conservative Kim Moon-soo has won the presidential nomination of the country's main conservative party, facing an uphill battle against Liberal frontrunner Lee Jae-myung for the June 3rd election. Observers say Kim will likely try to align with other conservative forces, such as former Prime Minister Han Duck-soo, to prevent a split in conservative votes and boost prospects for a conservative win against Lee. Military officials in Pakistan say they've tested a long-range missile amid rising tensions with India after an attack in India-controlled Kashmir. The sources say the missile test was aimed at ensuring operational readiness and validating technical parameters. Trade between the two countries has dwindled over the past few years. Imports and exports significantly decreased between April of last year and January of this year. OPEC Plus has agreed to increase oil production by 411,000 barrels a day starting next month, which could further decrease crude prices. That decision in line with expectations and follows a similar increase last month, which caused prices to plummet. The move is seen as a strategy shift by the cartel, potentially driven by Saudi Arabia's desire to discipline overproducing members and strengthen ties with the U.S. Shareholders in Berkshire Hathaway are again in Omaha for their annual meeting. CEO Warren Buffett's expected to take just 4.5 hours worth of questions this morning. The 94-year-old billionaire and deputies will stop taking questions from the audience at about 1 p.m. Eastern, a few hours earlier than usual. And apart from earnings, stock investments are likely to dominate the conversation, a key metric touted by the legendary investors signaling equities are relatively cheap. Japan's chief negotiator, Ryose Akazawa, has expressed hopes of reaching a trade agreement with the U.S. sometime in June. The two sides are still at odds on the key issue of tariffs on car exports, with the U.S. proposing to maintain its 25% tariffs, while Japan's pushing for a comprehensive agreement. Akazawa met with U.S. officials, including the Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. Jet Zero's triangle-shaped jet apparently is on track to get flying by late 2027. Bloomberg's Ed Kalegi's been looking into that.
Jet Zero, the startup aiming to take on Airbus and Boeing, says it's on track to fly the first full-scale model of its manta ray-shaped jetliner by late 2027 and is already laying plans to manufacture and certify the first commercial versions. The company has won early commitments from Delta and United and a $235 million grant from the U.S. Air Force for a concept aimed at replacing the traditional tube and wing design that's dominated air travel for decades.
Thanks, Ed. In the trading week that just ended, U.S. stocks rose for a second week, with the S&P experiencing its longest winning streak in over 20 years, erasing all losses from April's tariff turmoil. The S&P gained 1.5% Friday, the Nasdaq 1.6%, and the Dow added 1.4%. The Federal Reserve will meet this Tuesday and Wednesday. Economists expect the central bank will stay the course on monetary policy, as we hear from Bloomberg's Vinny Giudice.
No change. That's the consensus of Wall Street economists. Bloomberg Economics anticipates Fed Chair Jerome Powell lean hawkish. The U.S. labor market is holding up well for now, and it's likely the Fed's internal economic forecast may see tariffs pushing inflation toward 4%, twice the central bank's target. Now, the White House in all likelihood won't be happy. Keep an eye on social media. Vinny Giudice, Bloomberg Radio.
It's Kentucky Derby Day. Post time for the annual Run for the Roses is 6:57 tonight Eastern Time at Churchill Downs Racetrack in Louisville. The purse this year will once again be $5 million, matching the record-breaking payout from Derby 150 last year, with $3.1 million going to the winner and sizable payouts for the top 5 finishers. That's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Scott Carr, and this is Bloomberg.